vision? Well, it started the process just with the simple fact that Sean Cunningham and I regained possession of it, our contract way back then.
1.03111. These are 15 exploitation films from the 70s that were so brutal, so extreme, so disturbing that they got banned. Not just in one country, multiple countries. Some are still banned today. Forget the mainstream. These are the movies that crossed every line. The films that governments, censors, and audiences agreed went too far. Movie 1, Cannibal Holocaust, 1980.
It must have something to do with some obscure sexual rite or...
Ruggero Deodato made a found footage cannibal film in 1979 that was so realistic, Italian authorities arrested him for murder. They thought he'd actually killed his actors on camera. He had to bring the actors onto a television show to prove they were alive before the charges were dropped. Cannibal Holocaust is about a documentary crew that goes into the Amazon to film cannibalistic tribes. They disappear. A rescue team finds their footage. The second half of the film is that footage, and it's absolutely brutal. Real animal killings on camera, a turtle, a monkey, a pig, actual deaths. Then simulated human violence that looks completely real. The rape scenes are horrifying. The impalement death became infamous. A woman on a pole. Deodato achieved the effect with a bicycle seat and some practical effects, but it looks real. Too real. Italian authorities confiscated the film, arrested Deodato, charged him with murder. The actors had signed contracts agreeing to disappear from the media for a year to make the found footage seem authentic. That backfired spectacularly. Deodato had to produce them alive, show how effects were achieved. Eventually, the murder charges were dropped, but he was convicted of animal cruelty. The film has been banned in over 60 countries. It's still banned in several countries. Australia banned it until 2006. Iceland still bans it. The UK banned it for decades. When it finally got released in uncut form in 2011, it was still the center of controversy. Grindhouse Releasing finally gave it a proper US release in the 2000s. It's developed a cult following, but remains deeply divisive. The animal killings are real and indefensible. The violence is extreme even by exploitation standards. Deodato made a film so brutal, it got him arrested. And it's never escaped that controversy. Movie 2, The Last House on the Left, 1972.
Here's the first motion picture.
Experience and the artistic vision to make it somewhat...
Wes Craven's directorial debut got him death threats. The Last House on the Left is a rape revenge film so brutal that even in the Anything Goes early 70s, audiences and censors lost their minds. The plot is simple. 2 teenage girls get kidnapped, raped, tortured, and murdered by a gang of criminals. Then the gang accidentally ends up at one girl's house. The parents figure out what happened and take revenge. That's it. No redemption, no comfort. Just violence begetting violence. Craven and producer Sean Cunningham shot it guerrilla style in New York and Connecticut for $90,000. They cast mostly unknowns. David Hess plays the lead killer, and he's genuinely terrifying. The rape and torture scenes are long and unflinching. No cutaways, no artistic distance. Just prolonged suffering. The parents' revenge is equally brutal. They mutilate the killers. One infamous scene involves castration. Craven was deliberately making the revenge as ugly as the initial crime, showing that violence just creates more violence. But audiences didn't read it as commentary. They just read it as exploitation. American International Pictures picked it up for distribution and had no idea what to do with it. The film got an R rating after cuts, but many cities still banned it. Theater owners received death threats for showing it. Craven got threatening letters. Some theaters pulled it after one screening. The film has been banned and unbanned in multiple countries over the decades. The UK finally released an uncut version in 2002. It made money on the grindhouse circuit, but destroyed lives. Sandra Peabody, who played one of the victims, said filming traumatized her, and she struggled for years after. Craven later said he went too far, that the film was uglier than he intended, and he's right. It's still hard to watch today. Movie 3, Salò, or The 120 Days of Sodom, 1975.
Che il fascismo, il regime fascista, non è stato altro in conclusione.
Di ogni legalità. Nessuno sulla terra sa che voi siete qui.
Pure. Paolo Pasolini made a film about fascism and sexual degradation in 1975. 3 weeks after it premiered, he was murdered. Salò remains one of the most banned films in history. The film is based on Marquis de Sade's novel, but set in fascist Italy during the Republic of Salò in 1944. 4 fascist libertines kidnap 18 teenagers and subject them to 4 months of sexual torture and degradation. Sexual assault, coprophagia, humiliation, ending other people's lives. Pasolini films all of it clinically. No music, no emotion, just documentation of atrocity. Pasolini was making a film about fascism, about how absolute power corrupts absolutely, about how fascism treats people as objects. The sexual violence is metaphor, but the metaphor is graphic and horrifying. The coprophagia scene alone made audiences walk out. The scalping scene, the tongue removal, the final wedding where victims are murdered while classical music plays. The film premiered in November of '75. 3 weeks later, Pasolini was beaten to death in Rome. The murder was never fully solved. Some believe it was connected to the film. Others say it was unrelated. But the timing cast a dark shadow over everything. Italy banned the film for decades. The UK banned it until 2000. Australia banned it until 1993. The US had no official ban, but it was rarely shown. The negative was thought lost. When it resurfaced in the 90s, the debate started again. Criterion released it in the US in 1998. They defended it as an important political film about fascism. Critics agreed, but acknowledged it's almost unwatchable. Roger Ebert refused to give it a star rating. He just said it exists and people need to decide for themselves. Pasolini died before seeing how his final film would be received. It remains his most controversial work and one of the most banned films ever made. Movie 4, Snuff, 1976.
Funniest thing that ever happened in front of a camera. Snuff.
Will depart in 20 minutes.
Alan Shackleton took a cheap Argentinian exploitation film from 1971, added a fake ending where the crew supposedly murders the lead actress, and released it as Snuff. The marketing claimed it was real. The FBI investigated. Protests erupted. It was all a hoax, but people believed it. The original film was called Slaughter by Michael and Roberta Findlay, low-budget biker gang exploitation shot in Argentina. It sat unreleased for years. Shackleton bought it in '75 and realized he could make money with controversy. The Manson murders were still in public consciousness. Snuff films were an urban legend. He added a 7-minute ending. The ending shows the film crew after wrapping. The director and an actress are on the set. They start to love making. Then the director grabs knives and starts cutting her, dismembering her. Blood everywhere. Organs shown. The camera stays running. Then someone yells, "Shit, we ran out of film," and it cuts to black. It's obviously fake. The effects are terrible. But Shackleton marketed it as real. Planted protesters outside theaters. Newspapers ran stories asking if this was an actual murder on film. The FBI opened an investigation. Women's groups protested. The district attorney of New York tried to shut down screenings. The film made about $200,000 before the truth came out. Shackleton admitted it was fake. The FBI closed the investigation, but the controversy established the Snuff film as part of exploitation lore. Every few years, another real Snuff film would emerge. They were always fake. The original actress appeared on TV to confirm she wasn't murdered. Shackleton faced no real consequences. The film disappeared from theaters, but the legend grew. It's been released on DVD and streaming over the years. The actual film is boring. The controversy is the only interesting thing about it. Movie 5, I Spit on Your Grave, 1978.
This woman will soon cut, chop.
Mayer Zarchi made a sexual assault revenge film in 1978 that Roger Ebert called a vile bag of garbage and a film without a shred of artistic merit. It's been banned in multiple countries and remains deeply controversial. Originally titled Day of the Woman, the film is about a writer played by Camille Keaton who goes to a cabin to work. 4 local men gang rape her in an extended sequence that lasts over 20 minutes. She's left for dead. She survives. The second half is her revenge. She kills them one by one, violently. creatively. Zarchi claimed he made the film after helping a real rape victim and being appalled at how police treated her. He wanted to make a feminist revenge fantasy. Critics and censors saw exploitative garbage. The REP sequence is long and graphic. Some argue it's showing the horror honestly. Others say it's just exploiting sexual violence for entertainment. The revenge is equally brutal. One death involves a bathtub, seduction, and castration. Another involves hanging. The film doesn't look away. Zarchi shows everything. The film played grindhouses in '78 as Day of the Woman. Then, in 1980, Jerry Gross re-released it as I Spit on Your Grave, with new marketing emphasizing the revenge. It made money, but got destroyed by critics. Ebert and Gene Siskel both walked out and did TV segments condemning it. The film was banned in Australia, Norway, Iceland, and West Germany. The UK banned it until 2001. When it finally got released uncut, the controversy reignited. A remake in 2010 caused new protests. Zarchi always defended it as feminist. Keaton supported that interpretation. But the extended rape scene remains indefensible to many. The film exists in this weird space between exploitation and commentary, and censors have never known what to do with it. Movie 6, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974.
The scene, I don't want to do spoilers, but it loops back around into itself, and it's about no escape.
Tobe Hooper made a horror film in 1974 that barely shows any blood, no gore, no explicit violence, and it still got banned in multiple countries and caused audiences to riot. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is proof that suggestion and atmosphere can be more disturbing than explicit content. The plot is simple. A group of young people run out of gas in rural Texas. They encounter a family of cannibals, Leatherface and his chainsaw. One by one, they're killed. Final girl survives. Hooper shot it in Texas in brutal heat for about $140,000. The conditions were miserable. The set smelled like rotting meat. The actors were genuinely suffering. What makes the film so disturbing is how relentless it is. The sound design, the screaming, the oppressive heat you can feel through the screen. The dinner table scene that goes on forever. Sally Hardisty's character just screaming endlessly. It's sensory assault, not graphic violence. The film got an X rating initially. Hooper cut it down and got it to R, but the damage was done. Many countries banned it outright. The UK banned it until 1999. Australia banned it for years. Some US cities refused to show it. Theaters that did had audience walkouts and complaints. The film made about $30 million on that tiny budget, a massive hit. But the controversy followed it for decades. Hooper spent years trying to make another film live up to it, and never really succeeded. The sequels got progressively stupider until the whole thing became self-parody. But that original film, that's genuinely disturbing, not because of what it shows, but because of what it suggests, how it makes you feel. And censors couldn't handle that feeling even without explicit gore. Movie 7, The Devils, 1971. Ken Russell made a film about religious hysteria, sexual repression, and political corruption in 17th century France. Warner Brothers released it in 1971, then spent the next 50 years trying to bury it. The Devils is based on Aldous Huxley's book about the real case of Urbain Grandier, a priest accused of witchcraft. Oliver Reed plays Grandier. Vanessa Redgrave plays a hunchbacked nun who's obsessed with him. When Grandier rejects her, she accuses him of demonic possession. Mass hysteria breaks out. Nuns have sexual seizures. Exorcisms turn violent. Grandier is tortured and burned at the stake. Russell films all of this explicitly. The famous Repeat of Christ scene has nuns masturbating with a crucifix. Another scene has nude nuns in a sexual frenzy. The torture of Grandier is graphic. His legs are crushed. He's burned alive. Russell doesn't look away from any of it. The film is clearly political commentary about how religion gets weaponized, how power uses hysteria to destroy threats. But the imagery was too much for censors and religious groups. The US cut several minutes. The UK cut more. The uncut version barely played anywhere. Warner Brothers eventually tried to destroy the negative. They claimed it was lost. For years, the only versions available were censored. In 2004, a near-complete version was found, and screened at film festivals. But Warner Brothers still won't release it officially. The film has been banned or heavily censored in most countries. The Vatican condemned it. Religious groups protested theaters that showed it. Russell defended it as important political art. Reed called it his best work. It remains one of the most suppressed films from a major studio. Warner Brothers buried it and refuses to let it resurface properly even 50 years later. Movie 8, Thriller, A Cruel Picture, 1973.
And when they had finished, she used what was left to repay every blow with her own terrible kind of revenge.
Bo Arne Vibenius made a Swedish exploitation film in 1973 that's so brutal, Quentin Tarantino said he was afraid to watch it for years. Thriller, A Cruel Picture was the primary inspiration for Kill Bill, and it's way more disturbing than anything Tarantino made. Christina Lindbergh plays a mute woman who gets kidnapped and forced into prostitution. When she tries to fight back, her captors gouge out her eye. She's beaten into submission. The film forces her through escalating degradation and abuse. Then she escapes, spends months training in martial arts, weapons, and driving. The final act is her revenge, and it's one of the bloodiest things you'll ever see. There are two versions. The Swedish version has hardcore explicit scenes inserted, not simulated, actual adult film. The softcore version removes those but keeps the violence. Either way, it's brutal. The eye gouging is graphic. The violence during her revenge is extreme. People get shot point blank, run over, beaten to death. The cast had to sign contracts not revealing who the real director was. They were ashamed to be associated with it. Vibenius made it purely for money after his previous film flopped. He called it commercial as hell crap. But the film found an audience. It was banned in multiple countries. The hardcore version was banned as obscenity. The violence got it banned as video nasty in the UK. Tarantino saw it in the 80s and said it was one of the roughest films he'd ever seen. He told people to track down the uncensored Swedish bootlegs if they really wanted to see it. The film inspired Kill Bill, but Tarantino toned everything way down. The original is just punishing. Lindbergh defended it as feminist revenge fantasy. Critics called it misogynistic exploitation. Movie 9, The House on the Edge of the Park, 1980. Ruggero Deodato made Cannibal Holocaust. Then he made this, an even more controversial home invasion film that got him banned from multiple countries again. The House on the Edge of the Park is basically Last House on the Left, but somehow even nastier. David Hess from Last House plays essentially the same character, a mechanic who fixes a rich couple's car, then invites himself to their party. He brings his friend. They terrorize the guests. Rape, torture, humiliation. The film is 90 minutes of sadistic cruelty, then a twist ending that doesn't justify anything that came before. Hess is genuinely frightening again. He improvised a lot of the cruelty. The rape scenes are long and graphic. One involves a straight razor. The torture is creative and horrible. Deodato films it all clinically. No music to tell you how to feel, just documenting atrocity. The film was banned as a video, nasty in the UK. Banned in Australia, heavily censored everywhere else. The uncut version didn't play in most countries until the 2000s. Critics who saw it called it worthless and exploitative. Roger Ebert's site gave it 1 star. The actors later said filming was horrible. The female cast members felt unsafe. Hess later expressed regret about how far the film went. Deodato defended it as showing how violence dehumanizes everyone involved. Nobody bought that defense. The film made money in Italy and on home video, but destroyed what little reputation Deodato had left after Cannibal Holocaust. He tried to distance himself from both films in later years, but they're what he's known for. 2 of the most banned films of the exploitation era. The film serves no purpose except to disturb, and it succeeds at that. But unlike Last House, there's no artistry, just cruelty for its own sake. Movie 10, Straw Dogs, 1971.
All his life he's been running away.
I knew the studio well. I felt very comfortable going there again. I went up to the offices where I'd been many times before.
Sam Peckinpah made a film about violence and masculinity that the UK banned for over 2 decades. Straw Dogs is the most controversial film of his career, and it's never stopped causing arguments. Dustin Hoffman plays an American mathematician who moves to rural England with his wife, played by Susan George. The locals harass them. The harassment escalates. There's a rape scene that's deeply problematic. George's character seems to enjoy part of it before it turns violent. Peckinpah was trying to show something complex about power and sexuality. It comes off as exploitative and gross. The final act is Hoffman defending his home against attackers. The violence is extreme. He uses boiling oil, bear traps, broken glass. Peckinpah films the violence as cathartic. Hoffman's character becomes an animal defending his territory. The film seems to be arguing that violence is inherent to masculinity. That civilization is a thin veneer. The rape scene got the film banned in the UK from 1971 to 2002, over 30 years. The British Board of Film Classification refused to certify it. They said it was misogynistic and celebrated violence. Peckinpah fought them for years. He died before seeing it released uncut in the UK. The film was controversial everywhere. Feminist groups protested. Pauline Kael called it Peckinpah's worst film. Others defended it as a serious examination of violence. It made money, but damaged Peckinpah's reputation. Looking at it now, the rape scene is indefensible. Peckinpah's attempt at nuance just reads as sexual assault apologia. The violence at the end is well filmed, but the politics are ugly. The UK was right to ban it for as long as they did. Hoffman later said he regretted making it. George defended Peckinpah, but acknowledged the film was problematic, and it remains Peckinpah's most divisive work. Movie 11, Mandingo, 1975.
Of the explosive novel that sold over 9.5 million copies has now been brought to the screen.
Dino De Laurentiis produced a slavery exploitation film in 1975 that everyone involved tried to distance themselves from immediately. Mandingo is one of the most racist exploitative films a major studio ever released, and it was banned in multiple markets for being exactly that. The plot involves a plantation owner, played by James Mason, who breeds slaves for profit. Perry King plays his son, who has an affair with a slave, played by Brenda Sykes. Susan George plays King's wife, who gets revenge by sleeping with a slave, played by boxer Ken Norton. It's melodrama set against slavery, but it's really just exploitation. The film revels in showing slave suffering, whippings, sexual abuse, a slave fight to the death. The camera lingers on the violence and degradation. Director Richard Fleischer claimed that he was making an anti-slavery film, showing the horrors honestly. That's garbage. The film is exploiting slavery for entertainment. The intimate scenes are graphic for a studio film. The violence is brutal. The racial politics are offensive to everyone. Black audiences protested theaters showing it. White audiences were uncomfortable. Critics destroyed it. Roger Ebert gave it 1 star and called it racist trash. Paramount released it in May of '75. Anyway, it made about $7 million on a $2 million budget. Exploitation audiences turned out. Everyone else stayed away or protested. Several cities banned it. Theater owners received threats. The cast and crew spent decades trying to forget it existed. James Mason called it his worst film. Ken Norton said he only did it for the money. Fleischer defended it initially, then stopped talking about it. The film is rarely shown now. It's not on streaming. Paramount doesn't promote it. It's just this racist embarrassment sitting in their catalog. A reminder that exploitation films could be exploitative in multiple horrible ways at once. Movie 12, SS Experiment Camp, 1976. Sergio Garrone made a Nazi-exploitation film in 1976 that even exploitation fans found too much. SS Experiment Camp is about Nazi doctors conducting sexual experiments on prisoners at a concentration camp. It's one of the most tasteless films ever made. The plot involves Nazi doctors trying to make German soldiers virile after they're castrated in battle. They use female prisoners as test subjects. There's rape, torture, medical experiments shown graphically. The film doesn't have the excuse of being educational. It's just using the Holocaust for exploitation entertainment. The Nazi-exploitation subgenre was a thing in the 70s. Multiple films use concentration camps as settings for intimacy and violence. But even within that disgusting subgenre, SS Experiment Camp stands out for being particularly awful. The medical experiments shown are graphic. The sexual violence is constant. There's no attempt at critique or commentary, just exploitation. The film was banned in multiple countries immediately. Germany banned it, obviously. The UK banned it. Australia banned it. Even Italy, where it was made, tried to suppress it. Theater owners refused to show it. It made almost no money because nobody wanted to be associated with it. Garone apparently felt bad about it later. He tried to frame it as anti-Nazi commentary. Nobody bought that. The cast used pseudonyms so they wouldn't be associated with it. The whole production was shameful. The film has never been properly released in most countries. It exists on bootleg DVDs in dark corners of the internet. Film historians who study exploitation cinema mention it as an example of how far the genre went, a line crossed that shouldn't have been crossed. Using the Holocaust for exploitation entertainment is indefensible. An SS experiment camp is the most blatant example of that moral bankruptcy. It deserves to be forgotten. Movie 13, Don't Go in the House, 1979. Joseph Ellison made a slasher film in 1979 about a man who burns women alive. Don't Go in the House is so realistic in its depiction of murder that it got banned in multiple countries and caused major controversy about violence against women in film. Dan Grimaldi plays a man abused by his mother as a child. She would burn him with fire as punishment. As an adult, he snaps and starts kidnapping women. He strips them, chains them in a fireproof room, then burns them alive with a flamethrower. The effects are disturbingly realistic. The women scream. Their skin blisters and burns. It looks real. Ellison claimed he was making a psychological study of a serial killer. The film tries to be a character study showing how childhood abuse creates monsters. But the extended murder scenes are just exploitation. The camera lingers on women's suffering. It's misogynistic garbage dressed up as psychological horror. The film was banned in the UK as a video nasty, banned in Australia. Several US cities refused to show it. Women's groups protested theaters that did. The effects by Tom Brumberger were too good. It looked like real women being burned alive. The film cost about $150,000 and barely made that back. It played a few theaters and disappeared. Then in the video era, it became notorious as a banned film. The controversy gave it a cult, following it didn't deserve. Grimaldi later became a legitimate actor appearing on The Sopranos. He refused to discuss Don't Go in the House. Ellison made a few more low-budget films and quit. The film itself is mediocre, except for the disturbingly realistic burn effects. Those effects got it banned, and rightly so. There's no artistic merit, just realistic-looking violence against women for exploitation entertainment. Movie 14, The Toolbox Murders, 1978. Dennis Donnelly made a home invasion slasher in 1978 that was banned in multiple countries for being too realistic and too focused on violence against women. The Toolbox Murders is about a killer who took the lives of women in an apartment building using tools: hammer, screwdriver, drill, nail gun. The first 40 minutes are just a series of murders. No plot, just women being stalked and killed. One victim in a bathtub, one while exercising, one in bed. The film lingers on the violence. The camera stays on the suffering. It's misogynistic exploitation without any real story. The kills are creative in a horrible way. The drill death became infamous. The nail gun scene was cut in most countries. The film tries to add a kidnapping plot in the second half, but by then, the damage is done. Cameron Mitchell shows up as the killer, but his performance can't save the film from being worthless exploitation. The film was banned in the UK as a video nasty, banned in Australia, cut heavily everywhere else. The uncut version didn't play in most markets until the 2000s. Critics who saw it called it garbage. No redeeming qualities whatsoever. The film cost about $200,000 and made maybe $5 million. Exploitation audiences showed up for the extreme violence. The video made it notorious as a banned film. Tobe Hooper remade it in 2004 and somehow made it worse. Cameron Mitchell later expressed regret about doing it. He needed money and took the job. The film sits in his filmography as an embarrassment. The original director never made another film that got any attention. The Toolbox Murders exists only to show women being murdered graphically. That's it. That's the entire film. And multiple countries rightly banned it for being exactly that. Movie 15, Faces of Death, 1978. John Allen Schwartz made a Mondo documentary in 1978 that claimed to show real deaths. Faces of Death marketed itself as genuine death footage: suicides, accidents, executions, autopsies. The tagline was, "Banned in 46 countries." That was a lie, but people believed it. The film is actually mostly fake actors, staged deaths, special effects. But Schwartz mixed in real autopsy footage, real animal deaths, enough real content to make people believe the rest was real. The film has a fake doctor narrator walking viewers through different types of death. It's exploitative pseudo-documentary garbage. The execution footage is fake. The skydiving accident is fake. The alligator attack is staged. But the seal clubbing is real. The monkey brain dinner is real. The slaughterhouse footage is real. Enough real suffering to trick audiences into thinking they were watching snuff footage. The film cost $30,000 to make. It made over $35 million in theatrical and video release. Massive hit. Spawned multiple sequels. Got banned in multiple countries. The UK banned it. Australia banned it. Germany banned it. The banned status became part of the marketing. Teenagers watched it at slumber parties. Urban legends spread about the footage being real. Schwartz later admitted most of it was fake, but the damage was done. The film established the Mondo shock documentary as a genre. Countless imitators followed. Looking at it now, it's obviously fake. The acting is terrible. The effects are cheap. But in '78 on VHS, people believed it. And that belief made it one of the most notorious exploitation films of the decade. It's still banned in some countries, more as a statement than necessity. Nobody watching it now would think it's real. But the legend of Faces of Death as forbidden footage persists.